Chapter 4, The Woman Behind the CEO. 3 years after their wedding, Ethan Sinclair became the youngest executive vice president in Sinclair Corporation's history. Business magazines called him a rising genius. Financial analysts praised his leadership. Investors admired his vision. Everywhere Ethan went, people spoke about his remarkable ability to solve problems and predict market trends. The board was impressed, the media was fascinated. His family was proud. Everyone believed Ethan Sinclair was a natural-born businessman. Everyone except Ethan himself, because every time someone praised him, a small voice inside his head whispered the truth. It wasn't just me. It was nearly midnight. The lights inside the Sinclair penthouse were still on. Amelia sat at the dining table surrounded by reports, spreadsheets, and financial projections. A half-empty cup of coffee rested beside her laptop. Her eyes scanned dozens of documents at incredible speed. Numbers. Trends? Market forecasts. Supply chain reports. Everything mattered. Across from her, Ethan looked completely exhausted. He loosened his tie and rubbed his temples. I hate this. Amelia glanced up. The meeting? The board. She smiled. Which one? All of them. That earned a laugh. For the past 3 hours, they had been preparing for an important board meeting scheduled for the following morning. A new competitor had entered the market. Investors were concerned. The board wanted answers. And Ethan needed a strategy. Fortunately, Amelia had already found one. I think I figured it out. Ethan immediately sat up. Whenever Amelia said those words, something amazing usually followed. He reviewed her proposal carefully. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. By the time he finished reading, he stared at her in disbelief. Again. You're kidding. Amelia tilted her head. What? This solves everything. Hopefully? No. He pointed at the screen. This doesn't just solve the problem. His voice rose with excitement. It creates 3 new revenue streams. Amelia smiled. I noticed that, Ethan laughed. Of course she noticed. How do you do this? She shrugged. I like puzzles. He shook his head. You're wasted in consulting. Amelia rolled her eyes. We've had this conversation before. Because I'm right. Ethan leaned back in his chair. If the board could see what you just did, they'd hire you immediately. Amelia's expression softened. Maybe? The truth was, she never wanted the spotlight. She enjoyed solving problems. Creating strategies. Helping companies grow. Recognition had never mattered much to her. Watching Ethan succeed was enough. At least it was then. The following day, Ethan presented Amelia's strategy to the board. The reaction was immediate. Executives nodded. Investors smiled. Board members praised the proposal. When the presentation ended, applause filled the room. Richard Sinclair sat at the head of the table. For the first time in years, he looked genuinely impressed. Excellent work, Ethan. Ethan hesitated. Only briefly. Then he smiled. Thank you. The meeting ended with unanimous approval. As executives filed out, several stopped to congratulate him. Brilliant strategy. Outstanding leadership. You're exactly what this company needs. Ethan thanked them politely. But with every compliment, guilt grew heavier. Because deep down, he knew who deserved the praise. That evening, Ethan returned home carrying a large bouquet of white roses. Amelia looked up from her laptop. What's this for? He placed the flowers on the table. The board loved your plan. She smiled. Our plan. No. He sat beside her. Your plan, Amelia laughed softly. You presented it. Because you're too stubborn to do it yourself. She couldn't argue with that. Ethan took her hand. You should have heard them. What did they say? They called it brilliant. Amelia smiled. That's good. They called me brilliant. The smile faded slightly. Neither spoke for a moment. Because both understood what he meant. Finally, Amelia squeezed his hand. You earned it. No. Ethan looked directly at her. I couldn't have done any of this without you. His voice was sincere. Completely sincere. And Amelia believed him. Because Ethan never took credit at home. Whenever they were alone, he always acknowledged her contribution. Always appreciated her efforts. Always made sure she knew how important she was. Unfortunately, appreciation behind closed doors and appreciation in public were very different things. Several weeks later, Sinclair Corporation hosted its annual shareholder gala. Hundreds of investors attended. Politicians, executives, journalists. The event was designed to celebrate the company's remarkable growth. Growth largely built on Amelia's ideas. Though nobody knew it. As Ethan mingled with guests, Amelia stood nearby speaking with a few investors. One of them smiled warmly. "You must be very proud of your husband." "I am. He's extraordinary." Another investor nodded. "One of the brightest CEOs I've seen." Amelia smiled politely. The compliments continued. For nearly 10 minutes. Every success. Every innovation. Every strategic victory. All credited to Ethan. None to her. She wasn't jealous. At least that's what she told herself. But for the first time, something felt strange. As if she had become invisible. A familiar voice interrupted her thoughts. "Amelia." She turned. Victoria Sinclair approached. Elegant as always. Perfectly composed. "My dear." The words sounded warm. The tone did not. "Victoria." Victoria glanced around. "Ethan is quite popular tonight. He deserves it." Victoria nodded. Then smiled. A smile Amelia had learned to recognize. One that usually preceded criticism. "You've adjusted well." Amelia frowned slightly. Adjusted? To this life. There it was. Again. The implication. The suggestion that Amelia had somehow upgraded her life through marriage. As if she had won a prize. As if she had contributed nothing. "I've been fortunate," Amelia replied carefully. Victoria smiled. "You certainly have." Before Amelia could respond, Victoria walked away. Leaving her standing there. Once again feeling underestimated. Later that night, after the gala ended, Ethan and Amelia sat together on their balcony. The city sparkled beneath them. For a long time, neither spoke. Then Ethan broke the silence. "You were quiet tonight." Amelia stared at the skyline. "Was I?" "Very." She hesitated. Then asked quietly, "Do you ever think about telling them?" Ethan looked confused. "Telling who?" "Your family." The answer came immediately. "No." Amelia looked at him. "No? It's not important." She remained silent. Ethan continued. "They wouldn't understand." The words weren't cruel. They weren't dismissive. But something about them hurt. Because for years, Amelia had endured judgment from his family. And the one thing that could change everything remained hidden. The truth. The truth that she had spent countless nights helping build the empire they loved so much. The truth that she had sacrificed her own ambitions to support Ethan's. The truth that Sinclair Corporation's success belonged to both of them. Yet Ethan wanted to keep it secret. Not because he was ashamed. Not because he wanted credit. But because he believed protecting her privacy was the right thing to do. Unfortunately, good intentions sometimes create painful consequences. Amelia smiled softly. "It's okay." Ethan kissed her forehead. "Thank you." She rested her head against his shoulder. Trying to ignore the uncomfortable feeling growing inside her. For the first time in years, she wondered what would happen if she stopped helping. Would the company survive? Would Ethan succeed? Would anyone notice? She quickly pushed the thought away. Because she loved Ethan, and helping him never felt like a burden. Not yet. Across town, inside the Sinclair estate, Richard and Victoria discussed their son over dinner. "Another successful quarter," Richard said. Victoria nodded. "Ethan is exceeding expectations. He reminds me of myself." Victoria smiled. That was perhaps the highest compliment Richard Sinclair could give anyone. Then she asked, "Do you think Amelia contributes anything?" Richard shrugged. "Emotionally perhaps." Victoria laughed. That's generous. Neither noticed the irony. While they praised Ethan's brilliance, the true architect of many of those successes sat in a penthouse apartment miles away, working late into the night, building strategies, solving problems, helping a company that didn't even know how much it depended on her, and as Sinclair Corporation grew stronger, the foundation of Amelia and Ethan's marriage quietly changed. What began as a partnership built on love was becoming something else. A dangerous imbalance. One person receiving all the recognition, the other receiving none. Neither realized it then, but cracks had already begun to form beneath the surface. Small, invisible, and waiting for the day they would finally break.